Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privrajacharya Ashtakar Shishimata Bhaichar Narvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai All glories to the Sema devotees. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatojaya Mudirayet. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy, verse 14. Shashvat Svarupa Mahasaiva Nipita Bheda Mohaya Bodha Vishanaya Nama Parasmai Vishvodbhavasti Tilayeshu Nimitta Lila Rasayate Nama Idam Chakrame Shvaraya Shashvat Svarupa Mahasaiva Nipita Bheda Mohaya Bodha Dishanaya Nama Parasmai Vishvodbhavasti Tilayeshu Nimitta Lila Rasayate Nama Idam Chakrimeshvaraya Shashvat Svarupam Ashai Pitya Veda
Mohaya Bodha Krishnaya Nama
Parasmai
Vishkodbhavasti Vayesu Nimita Lila Vishwa Bhagavati Vayesu Rasayate Namaidam Chakameshwaraya Rasayate Meshwaraya Shashvat Svarupama Sharva Nipita Veda Shashvat Svarupaya Sharva Nipita Veda Mohaya Bhota Mahaya Mahaya Shanaya Mahaya Rashmaya Vishwodhavastiti Vayesu Nikarima Vishwodhavastiti Vayesu Nikarima Rasayate Namadam Chakrimeshwaraya
Sayate Namanda. Okay. Shashvat, eternally. Svarupa, transcendental form. Mahasa, by the glories. Eva, certainly. Nipita, distinguished. Bheda, differentiation. Mohaya, into the illusory conception. Bodha, self-knowledge. Dishanaya, intelligence. Namaha, obeisances. Parasmai, unto the transcendence. Vishwa Udbhava, creation of the cosmic manifestation. Sthiti, maintenance. Layeshu, also destruction. Nimitta, for the matter of. Lila, by such pastimes. Rasaya, for enjoyment. Te, unto you. Namaha, obeisances. Idam, this. Chakrima, do I perform. Ishvaraya, unto the Supreme. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, by Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Let me offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Transcendence, who is eternally distinguished by His internal potency. His indistinguishable impersonal feature is realized by intelligence for self-realization. I offer my obeisances unto Him, who by His pastimes enjoys the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. Purport. The Supreme Lord is eternally distinguished from the living entities by His internal potency, although He is also understood in His impersonal feature by self-realized intelligence. Devotees of the Lord, therefore, offer all respectful obeisances unto the impersonal feature of the Lord. The word rasa is significant herein. The rasa dance is performed by Lord Krishna in the company of the cowherd damsels at Vrindavan, and the personality of Godhead, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, is also engaged in rasa enjoyment with his external potency, by which he creates, maintains, and dissolves the entire material manifestation. Indirectly, Lord Brahma offers his respectful obeisances unto Lord Shri Krishna, who is factually ever engaged in rasa enjoyment with the gopis, as confirmed in the Gopala Tapani Upanishad in the following words. Parardhante so buddhyata gopavesho me purushaha purastat avirbabhuva. The distinction between the Lord and the living entity is definitely experienced when there is sufficient intelligence to understand his internal potency, as distinguished from the external potency by which he makes possible the material manifestation. Let me offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Transcendence, who is eternally distinguished by his internal potency. His indistinguishable impersonal feature is realized by intelligence for self-realization. I offer my obeisances unto him, who by his pastimes enjoys the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatrubhischa Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langati girmat kripatama hamanda Shri Gurum Dinataranam. So in the previous verse, we heard from Tulsi Prabhu, and the Acharyas also explained that in the previous verse, there is description of two types of bhakti, two ways to perform devotional service. One is Kevala Bhakti, pure devotional service, when there is spontaneous attraction to the Lord. We also call this Bhagavad Vidhi. It means we are so spontaneously attracted to hearing and chanting about the Lord that basically that's all what we are doing the whole day. There is a book by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jaiva Dharma, and there is description of the Babajis living in Godrum. And when we read these descriptions, we see that they are very advanced devotees. The whole day and night, they just chant and hear about the Lord. And they're supremely blissful by doing this, just by doing this. And they do some madhukari, just beg little food, some prasadam. And they're dressed in, Babaji Vesha. And they're so advanced that there is one person who was impersonalist. His name, I think, was Sanyas Thakur. And he was living in Varanasi. He was impersonal philosopher, impersonalist sannyasi. And he was studying there many years. And then he was studying Nyaya, all this grammar, all these things the Mayavadi study. So one day he saw a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, and then he was very attracted. And he came all the way to Navadvip. And there he met one of these Babajis, devotees of Mahaprabhu and Premananda, Premdas Babaji, I think. And for 3 days, he got shelter. He attained shelter at the lotus feet of this Babaji. And for 3 days, couple of days, he attained Bhava, this impersonalist. So we can imagine how advanced are these devotees. And he got a new name, Vaishnavadas, and he saw Mayapur in its eternal spiritual glory, not like when we go to Mayapur, when we see the rickshaw-wallas and the buses in the front gate that they go to Ranagat. He saw, there is a description in Jaiva Dharma, what he saw. He saw the effulgent, spiritual, beautiful Mayapur Dham, not different from Vrindavan, with so many blissfully engaged in Harinam Sankirtan devotees, many palaces. Well, amazing. So this is the process of Bhagavad Vidhi. We are so engrossed in, so absorbed in Bhagavatam, in the holy name, that we don't require anything else. We don't require anything else. The Acharyas describe how we should study Bhagavatam. Actually, already the 3rd verse of Bhagavatam describes Bhavu Pibata Rasa Malayam, Bavukaha. All intelligent persons relish, drink the nectar of Bhagavatam. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that we should read Bhagavatam in such a way that we faint out of ecstasy. And then when we come back to external consciousness, we should start reading again, and then we should faint again. That's the life of a Bhagavad Vidi devotee. So this is the same instruction Krishna gave in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said that the first thing he said, one should fix the mind in him. We cannot fix the mind in Krishna unless we love him. So Bhagavad Vidi, the process is described in Bhagavatam by the Acharyas, is elevated process for elevated people, devotees who are really advanced. If we are not so advanced, then the next level down, as also Tusiku was explaining yesterday, is called Pancharatra. Pancharatra Vidi. This is the same instruction Krishna gave in Bhagavad Gita. If you cannot fix the mind, then you have to follow sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti in the temples is centered around the deities, deity worship, and of course hearing and chanting. Pancharatrika engages our senses, our mind, our body in devotional service in a regulated manner. We may not have spontaneous attraction, but we follow the schedule given by Shastra, by the Acharyas. And this also includes hearing Bhagavatam, right? Like now, for example, we are hearing Bhagavatam. So is this part of Bhagavad Vidi or it is Pancharatrika Vidi? This process right now. 8 o'clock, we have to hear Bhagavatam. What is this? Yes. Anyway, you say it and I will repeat it.
I think it depends with what kind of consciousness we are doing it. Is it like activity performed with spontaneous attraction?
Yes.
Or it's rather we are doing it just because it's duty part of our routine?
Yes, exactly, yes. So in our case, it is part of Pancharatrika because we do it regularly. At 8 o'clock, we have to sit down and listen to Bhagavatam. With or without spontaneous attraction, that's our duty. We have to do it. The same way we go for Mangalarti and then we chant our rounds. So if this lifestyle is naturally meant for people. It's a Brahminical lifestyle. It's meant for people who live in the temple and they're engaged in devotional service, direct devotional activities, and that's all they do. If we are not satisfied on this level, so we cannot be on the Bhagavad Vidi, so we are also not satisfied the level of Pancharatra, then we require something else. And that means life outside of the temple. And there will be engaged in many other activities besides direct devotional service. So then Varnashrama, the rules and regulations of Varnashrama are required. Because otherwise, we may develop a kind of multiple personality. There will be at least two personalities present. One will be the person who is a devotee. He performs or she performs direct devotional service from 4 to 9. And then from 9 onwards, there will be another person who performs material activities. And if we don't, and of course Shastra says that we have to somehow or other, we have to fix the mind on Krishna, and this requires also this part of the day. After we finish our Mangalarati, then chanting japa, then Bhagavatam class, then breakfast prasadam, we have to engage also these hours in devotional service. And Tulsi Prabhu was explaining how to do this. We have to connect also this. Otherwise, we may think, well, if I'm a devotee, that means everything I do is devotional service. It's a false logic. It's not necessarily that because we are devotees, anything we do is devotional service. Okay, so then this was yesterday, and today. So the Acharyas explained that the previous verse describes two different types of devotional service: Kevala Bhakti or Bhagavad Vidi, and mixed devotional service, Karma Mishra Bhakti, when we have material desires. So what do we do when we have material desires? Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita, a devotee humbly recognizes that there are material desires in his heart, and he detests those, and then he continues his devotional service, and very soon the Lord will appear in his heart and accept his love. That's what literally says Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we should recognize humbly if we have such desires, and continue with our purification by doing devotional service. And the other day Maharaj was quoting this famous verse from second canto, Akama sarva kamuva moksha kamo daradi tivrana bhakti yogana yajat purusham param. Tivra bhakti, it is interesting, it is not completely pure devotional service because you have material desires, but a Tivra bhakti means that the devotee doesn't make any separate endeavor to fulfill these desires separate from his devotional service. He may have those, but he depends exclusively on the mercy of the Lord. And there are examples given. Dhruva Maharaj, he had material desire. He wanted to attain kingdom greater than the kingdom of his grandfather, but he didn't do anything material to attain this kingdom. He just engaged in the service of the Lord, and then he attained the kingdom. Of course, by the time he attained this boon from the Lord, he was not enthusiastic he didn't want it. And there is a description of their conversation between the Lord and Dhruva Maharaj. And the Lord gave him, he fulfilled his desire, and Dhruva Maharaj was fearful, he was disturbed because he thought, well, you'll give me this material benediction, which I foolishly prayed for, but you will not give yourself. And the Lord said, no, I will give both myself and the kingdom you wanted. So you won't lose anything. And another example of a great devotee who practiced this process of Tivra Bhakti is Kardama Muni. He was a brahmachari performing tapasya, but he wanted to get married. What did he do? He didn't start a Facebook account and posted pictures there of himself doing puja, yagya, and harinam, trying to attract somebody. He just continued with his devotional service. And then the Lord appeared and he told him, I already arranged, I know your desire, I know your heart, and I arranged already for suitable match, suitable girl, exactly the girl you dreamed for all these long years, Krishna says. And so this is a very elevated platform of devotional service, actually, because usually we don't have such exclusive faith that the Lord will take care of all of our needs, and we try to ourselves to do something about it. And the Acharyas explain their Karma Mishra. This is Karma Mishra Bhakti, and there is also Bhakti Mishra. No, Karma Mishra Bhakti and Bhakti Mishra Karma. So these are two different processes. When the desire to please the Lord is stronger, then we have Bhakti, which is mixed by karma. And when the desire to please our senses is stronger, then we have desire for karma, which is mixed by Bhakti, because people usually, especially pious people, they understand that in order to attain my desires, I have to add some devotion. Some Bhakti should be there. Otherwise, I cannot attain anything, neither heaven, neither material happiness, neither liberation. And in this verse, in today's verse, it is explained that there is a description of two forms of the Lord worshipped by two types of worshippers, by the Gyanis and by the devotees. And these are Brahman and Bhagavan. It is important to understand that, as in Bhagavatam it is explained, Yat Jnanam Advayam, this is non-dual substance. Krishna is, there is one Lord, one without second, and he is perceived in different ways according to the adhikar, the qualification of the worshipper. It is not, there are not three different entities, Bhagavan, Paramatma, and Brahman. It's one Krishna Bhagavan. He has different aspects according to the qualification of different worshippers. So we are trying to, of course, to attain the Bhagavan, Vraja Krishna. This is our Ishta Devata, worshipable deity. But again, if we're not on this level of Bhagavad Vidhi, we may use Paramatma and Bhagavan in Brahman aspects of the Lord in order to get to Bhagavan. Otherwise, how can we jump directly on the platform of Bhagavan, of love of Godhead? Therefore, Krishna has these descriptions in Bhagavatam of the universal form, because that's the way for the neophytes to realize him. And also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains Rasoham Apsukantiya Prabhasmisha Shisureyaho Pranava Shabda Vanishu Shabda Ke Parusham Nishu. And interestingly enough, this verse appears, although we may think it is for neophytes, this verse appears in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Prabhupada's commentary, where there is the conversation between Ramananda Raya and Lord Chaitanya. Towards the end of this conversation, where there is a description of the Uttamadhikari, Mahabhagavat devotee. And Srila Prabhupada explains there that Mahabhagavata devotee, he knows how to become Krishna conscious, and quotes this verse. If you want to go from here to Mayapur, for example, first thing we should know, when you open this Google map on your phone, what happens? The first thing they want to establish is, of course, where you want to go, but first thing is, where are you right now? So that means if you're not connected to the satellites, then they cannot tell you the directions you need. So the first thing, you have to establish where are we if we want to travel somewhere. First, therefore, in the maps, in the metro, it's always red point. You are here. From here you can go wherever you want to go. But if you don't know where you are, you cannot go anywhere. So this is Sambandha. First of all, we have to know where are we. And if we are not so advanced in Krishna consciousness, then we have to humbly acknowledge, I'm not so advanced. I have to start from somewhere. And we can only start from only one position, the position we are actually right now. If we try to start from different position, we will not find our way. We'll be bewildered. So we have to get rid of this false ego that I'm more advanced than I am. And if we see only matter, we don't see Krishna Bhagavan, we don't hear his flute and not spontaneously attracted to his pastimes. If we see matter only, then we have to see this matter in relationship with Krishna. And Krishna explains how this should be done. And we see also the advanced devotees like the gopis, they always connect everything to Krishna. When they see, there is the description, that Chandrakanta jewel, it's a special jewel that melts on the moonlight. When Radharani sees this, she remembers Krishna. And when they see the tamal tree, they remember Krishna. So we shouldn't think that these are for neophytes, because the most advanced devotees, they have the same, they make the same connection. Of course, for them it's spontaneous. So Srila Prabhupada, he explains that in the purport that the Supreme Lord is eternally distinguished from the living entities by his internal potency. So there are two types of illusion destroyed here by this verse. First is that we are material. Here it is explained that we are spiritual, but we are not the Lord. So although we are spiritual, we are not the Supreme Lord. We are not the controller and the enjoyer. And this is very interesting. The Lord is distinguished from us because he is the master of the Shaktis, the internal potency in this case. And we don't have this capacity. We are not the master of anything. We, the living entity, has independence, minute independence. Srila Prabhupada says we can only choose, we can only desire, and depending on what we desire, we end up in the material or spiritual atmosphere. So we're not the master of the internal potency, although it is, we theoretically accept it, it is actually hard to accept. I don't know whether maybe you noticed how people, and devotees also sometimes, we try to see other people as our internal potency. So you are meant to give me pleasure. That's what the internal potency does. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is explained that Srimati Radharani is the happiness, the joy of Krishna personified. And we try to sometimes to use other people in the same manner, but we are energy, we're not the energetic, so it doesn't work, as obviously. At the Harinam yesterday, I was looking at the people passing by, and they are on a quest. They are convinced that they are God. They are the controllers and the enjoyers, and they want to be the supreme enjoyer and controller. And guess what? They'll never attain this goal. No matter how busy they are, how fast they go, how intelligent or beautiful or successful they are, they will never attain this goal. We can never be the Supreme Lord. And for many people, this creates frustration, anger, envy. In the beginning of Bhagavatam, not in the beginning, third canto, I think, there is a description of the first creations of Brahma. And one of the first creation is, because Brahma has to facilitate the conditioned souls, he has to give them the false identity, false ego, basically. And together with this false ego, there are other things connected. And one of the first creation is anger born of frustration that we are not Krishna. Anger. Why I am not the Supreme Lord? Why somebody else is the Supreme Lord? He's the enjoyer. He's the controller. So the conditioned soul is in denial of reality. He doesn't want to accept the obvious reality that he is not the controller. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarva loka maheshwaram sukhidam sarva bhutanam gyatvam shantim richati. So the Lord he's the enjoyer, the controller, and he's the best friend of all. And because people don't want to accept this, especially, well, all of them, but all these isms that people come up with, their humanism, whatever, socialism, communism, there are different expressions of this envy of the position of the Lord, who is the best friend of all living entities, because the Lord, he knows what is best for us, and he gives the knowledge required for us to manipulate piously the material energy while we're in the material world and to attain liberation. But people are envious, so they manufacture other ideas, the other philosophies, other concepts, because they cannot accept that Krishna is the best friend. He knows what is our best interest. They cannot accept this, so they have to come up with so many ideas. And if we accept this reality that we are Krishna's servants, we are not the heroes. We are assistants of Krishna's pleasure. Then what happens is that what will happen eventually is that Krishna will be very pleased, and he'll become dependent on us. Well, that's what Shastra says. Krishna becomes devotee of his devotees. What was this? Bhagavan Bhakti Bhaktiman, something like this. Krishna is devotee of his devotees. Krishna explains in 9th canto, when Durvasa Muni comes to beg forgiveness from him, Krishna explains, I am not, you think I'm independent, therefore that's why you came here, because neither Shiva nor Brahma could help you, because they are dependent on me, and you think I can solve your problem. I'm also not independent. So in this sense, we can become the heroes. This is our desire, to be the hero. Just like Hanuman became the hero, or Arjuna, Nimitra Matra Bhave Savasachin. When we become instrument of the Lord, then Krishna will promote us to this position of his intimate assistants, servants. But this will be done in a pure way. And when Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says Sarva Dharmam Parityaja, give up all other duties and just surrender to me. He doesn't demand something that he doesn't already do. Because Krishna, he has done this Sarva Dharmam Parityaja for his devotees. For example, when Krishna gave a vow that he will not fight at the battle of Kurukshetra, this is Dharma. And he gave it up. He picked up a weapon and he was ready to fight. 2 times even. And many other times he did it for other devotees. So we shouldn't take it as Krishna is some kind of tyrant and he wants to establish his rule and he wants to exploit us. He's the boss and we are the servants. Krishna wants rather to give us opportunity to purify ourselves, to come up to the level of commitment and purity which is required to have a deep and meaningful relationship with him. Therefore, it is actually mercy. It is not anything else. It is just like in one purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that if you want to associate with the king, you have to be qualified. So if you want to associate with the Supreme Brahman, you have to be Brahman also. You have to realize that you are who you are. And in the same way, Krishna gives us opportunity to, and he requests us to purify ourselves so that we can come closer to him. And that's truly amazing, very, very special. Okay, thank you very much. You want to say something?
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for the class. I just wanted to share. Yesterday I was reading first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and I was surprised to read something that apparently I read before, but somehow it didn't struck me. Like generally we are referring to Krishna as the protector of his devotees, Bhakta Vatsala, because we know on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna was in a very difficult situation from grandfather Bhishma, and Krishna decided, okay, let me protect Arjuna. And he get off from the chariot and took the wheel of the chariot and used it as a weapon and started running in the direction of Bhishma. So generally this is a very important moment. But yesterday I was reading the punishment of Ashwatthama, this part of Bhagavatam. And again, same situation when Krishna is just about to leave Hastinapura. Actually, I don't know if it was Hastinapura, but he was just ready to leave after the battle of Kurukshetra. And suddenly Uttara, the wife of Abhimanyu, rushed towards Krishna, and she started saying this famous verse, Krishna, Krishna. Yes.
Pahi pahi mahayogin deva deva jagatpati.
Yes, please protect me. Nobody else can help me. So then it is said that when Krishna understood with his intelligence actually what is about to happen, that Ashwatthama released the Brahmastra for second time, especially to kill the last descendant of the
Kuru
dynasty. Yes. And he understood actually even the Pandavas, although they can stop.
They won't have time.
Yes, they
counteract the Brahmastra.
They won't have time to do it. They know how to do it, but they don't have time. So then Krishna immediately, Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport, Krishna immediately took action. And he immediately called for his Sudarshana Chakra, and he released Sudarshana Chakra. And again, Srila Prabhupada in the purport is writing, yes, Krishna, if he has to make the choice, if he wants to become famous as Bhakta-Vatsala or a sharp moralist, he prefers the first one.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if the people will say, oh, just see, the Supreme Lord, he broke his vow. No, he doesn't care.
But therefore he says Sarvadharma Parityaja, because he's already doing it for his devotees.
Yeah.
So if we want to be close to him, we have to have the same commitment to him. Otherwise, like somebody comes up to you and he just wants to exploit you, to use you for your resources. How close you can be with such person? Therefore, Krishna wants to elevate us so that we can be really good, intimate friends. Otherwise, it's not possible. And also, I think it was also explained there that the body of Parikshit was burnt, actually. Was burned by the Brahmastra. And Krishna gave him new body, actually. Immediately gave him new body. And another pastime, I think, yes, when the Gajendra was in difficulty and he prayed to the Lord, and then Krishna appeared on the Garuda, and we know Garuda is very fast. But Krishna thought, well, Garuda is too slow. I want to go quicker to my devotee to rescue him. So he jumped off Garuda's back and he actually went quicker there. So this shows how eager is the Lord to protect his devotees. And Gajendra was not even a human. Yeah, therefore this verse, who can be more merciful? The verse spoken by, what was the pastime, by Gadadhara when Pundarika Vidyanidhi, he wanted to show to Mukunda what kind of devotee is Pundarika Vidyanidhi, how he spoke this verse from Bhagavatam. Who can be more merciful? Yeah, this verse, exactly. Okay, thank you for this. Okay, something else? Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Oh, glory to the devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
But actually, you have to go very, very actually because we say what's what you're doing.
Yeah, I thought about the same. That's the point.
The amount of surrender that you need, because you even know. That's why you're so great. Please be happy with how great you are. I cannot do anything. That's great. Krishna, he had fun to put it with higher position than even.
And Brahma, even Brahma was astonished when he asked Krishna, I don't know how will you reward the Rajas? Because you already gave the most valuable thing to this demon who wants to kill you. You gave yourself to them. So I don't know what we'll do now with the Rajas, because what can you do? And he was right, because Krishna himself admitted this with the right around it. Are we still on? I think it should not be.